Hi, Team Flyer, and welcome back to the Always Warrior podcast. I'm your host, Ariadna, and we're back once more for another Motivational Monday in this episode. So, first of all, thank you so much for being here once more. I appreciate you, I adore you, I see your comments. I am astonished and inspired and feel empowered by every single one of you. So, thank you so much, Team Flyer, for this community that you also help build every single day. Thank you. Alright, so for today, we're definitely talking about stop watering dead plants and let the new ones grow. So these plants can be actual physical plants that you have to let them fully die and then buy new ones, I guess, or plant new ones. There goes my metaphor. 2 seconds in, right? So, you get the idea behind the metaphor. Stop watering dead plants and let the new ones grow. And this means, in a very quick summary reminder, after everything we've talked about recently, after all the ups and downs, after all the examples, this is my reminder to you that dead plants for you can come in any way, shape, form, and sizes. Once again, I repeat that all the time, and I acknowledge it, and I know it, and I deal with it, basically. But it's true. Dead plans can be friends, can be work, can be business, which could be different things, especially if you run a business and you run too many businesses. Because I know a few out there, I read your comments that you do a little too much. You got to focus on just one or two, please. Because I get it. I understand. I get it. I have a lot on my plate too, but sometimes a little bit overdoing it. But it's also, it could be literally anything. A hobby, an activity, a person, a place, a job, a food, anything that doesn't bring you joy anymore. Literally anything. Like, it is time to release, go. Literally. Let it go and release that ish. So, my biggest take, because we've talked about so much already recently, and especially if you've been following up with every episode, I so appreciate you and then some. And if you haven't, this is the first episode you're listening to, like I say, go back, listen to others. I appreciate you being here. There's so much wisdom and words of advice in every single episode with all my guests that I really appreciate you taking the time out for, like, not only to listen to me, of course, and listen to my show, but for yourself and to acquire all the different pieces of knowledges that are coming to you through these episodes and then some. So since we already talked a lot about how to let go and why it's so important to bring the new light in and why it's so important to, fulfill your life with things that bring you joy, one of the biggest things I need to remind you, there you go, is that you bring in your value and your worth. What I mean by that, I read a lot of comments and they're like, oh my god, like, I cut these people out of my life, I quit my job, I moved to a better place, I'm in a healthier relationship, all these sorts of things, and I think that's really wonderful. But a lot of the times it's like you kind of follow the same pattern, even if you change your workplace, your environment, things like that, is because you don't remember your self-worth. You don't remember how important you are. You don't remember how loved you are. You don't remember these things, and that's okay, I guess, because we're a person, we're people, we're not machines, so we forget a lot of different things. But as I always say, and that's how I keep pushing these episodes out and keep transforming them into something bigger and better, is simply for people to remind themselves that, hey, I am love, I am powerful, I am strong, I'm abundant, I am healthy, I'm wealthy. Any of the mantras that you want to say, you gotta remember that you're worth. Because when I get that kind of feedback, it's like you're repeating the same cycle because you haven't learned those lessons again. The universe keeps throwing. It could be in different places, in different faces, or different environments altogether. But if it's the same kind of genre, it's the same kind of curveball, or the same kind of environment, or not environment, I just said environment, but the same kind of pattern, that's the word I was looking for, it's because you haven't learned those lessons. And one of the biggest things that could be standing in your way is yourself. And believe me, like I've said in previous episodes, and I'll keep saying, there's lots of inner work that I have to do, a lot of outer work that I have to do to heal my mind, body, and soul. And by the way, we're not like healing to be like the picture perfect version of ourselves. Healing is a process that's lifelong. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh my God, I'm healed. No, because you're always going to have something. You're always going to like push forward towards something, because life is always going to give you lessons no matter what. So with all this, remember, take some time for yourself this week, whenever it is that you're listening to this, to understand your value, understand what you bring to the table. Not only what you bring to the table, but you bring the whole darn table. I'm sure of it. I'm sure if you're listening to me right now, whether it's you're watching through a YouTube video, or you're listening while you're jogging or walking or doing whatever it is that you're doing, or just like laying on the couch, you're here because you truly believe in yourself. You've reached out to this kind of wellness podcast because you know for a fact how much your worth is, to some extent, even if it's subconsciously, you know what I mean? Because you do bring the whole darn table, because you're here today taking time out of your day and putting your energy into yourself, because that's essentially what this is. Yes, you're listening to me because the words are coming through me and they're being downloaded through me, but this is for you. This is your life reminder whenever it's that you're listening to this, how many times you listen to this, no matter how many signs the universe is telling you to do this, because it could be through this podcast various times over and over again, or any other signs. Your worth and your energy are so important that you need to remember who you are. And like I said, there's so many different ways for you to do that. There's so many different kinds of solutions for you to do that reach out. Just reach out. You can keep DMing me for ideas and thoughts. But, you know, one of the biggest things that I can tell you is find daily ways to be yourself even more, but also to remind yourself the beauty and the magic and the wonder that is you. So, apart from this, one of the many other ways, I did write a few down because I think it's super important for all to know, because you do ask out. Of course, build a support system. Surround yourself with people who are going to lift you higher. Whether that's social media, whether it's relationship with your family, relationships with your partner, relationships with your best friend. It doesn't matter with who. Find relationships, build that support system that's 50-50, that's going to be there through the thunderstorms and the rainbows, who's going to be there through your highest and your lowest. Because if not, there's no need for you to be in their time-space zone, because that energy is not for you. You're going to find people that are aligned with you, that you can build a support system. And even if it starts with one, you at least have one. Even if it starts with a podcast that you're listening to, that's where it starts. That's where it begins. Because you're going to take that time to understand your worth, and you're going to listen to these messages over and over again. Also, stay firm with your decision to leave. For those leaving toxic relationships, work contracts, any kind of relationships in general, I'm not even talking about family, I'm saying in general, stand firm, stay firm, remind yourself why you did it, remind yourself of the why. There's also an episode way back when that I did that was do something hard today that your future self will thank you for. That is super duper important for you to understand that, because you got to stay firm with that decision. It may hurt, it's going to suck, it's going to be painful, you're going to feel all sorts of feelings, all sort of thoughts, but because you need to understand the value of your worth and understand the impact, the nice, kind impact you have in the world, stand firm when you leave, when you make the decision to leave. Of course, for a lot of you, that's going to be cut off contact completely. I've had guests, I have clients, I have personal stories where you just block them, where you just cut them off, because that's what it's going to take for you to reborn again, to understand your worth and understand what you're doing that journey. And if that journey in the future aligns up with that person, that's absolutely fine, because that it happens. It happens sometimes, and it gets it. And I have to talk a little bit more about this in an episode. It's a Go to Fly episode, and it's about happiness and I don't remember the name of the episode right now, but it's Go to Fly Happiness. Just scroll back in the feed and you'll definitely see it. But it's definitely new. It's from May this year, 2022. So, understand that you deserve better. And by this, there's so many different examples that you can find. Like, make a list of your most important assets of like how you feel about yourself. It could be physical, it could be non-physical, it could be whatever it is that you say that like, I know I deserve more. I know I'm worth it because XXXXX, like just fill in the blanks basically, you know? Start, even if you start with one thing, it's because I know I deserve better because I have really cool hair. Hey, it's one thing. I know I deserve better because I let my inner child play and this person doesn't. It's one thing. It's one step in the right direction. Just start with that baby step, babe. Start with a baby step. I always record. Yes, I always record. That's also true. I always recommend to seek professional help from a therapist, from whoever it is that you feel that's aligned, but definitely from a therapist, mentor, coach, whatever you feel that's best, but always seek out for help because we live in a society that we're able to help from all around the world. I have so many friends who have like their therapist in like a different country because they align with that person, and they can be like in a 6-hour time difference or a 9-hour time difference. They're like, well, I'm still gonna make it work because I align with this person, whoever that person is. So make it work, because like I always say as well, if you're here listening to this episode, there's some way in you that you not only have internet connectivity, but also that you want to get better. So seek professional help, please. Another idea as well is to keep a journal of your emotions and see where you're at. Just write. Start your day writing, or find 10 minutes a day to write. And you're like, Ariadna, I'm not a writer, because we get that all the time. Ariadna, I'm not a writer, or I don't know what to say. Or my grammar sucks. Or I'm like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Just write your heart out and keep track of what you're feeling. You have like 2 sets of journals, or a million in my case, but one of them is all about like letting that feelings go, letting go. Just write everything out, and then burn that ish if you can. Safety first, please. Safety first. But also, if you keep a journal of your emotions, and even if there are days that you forget, do not be like hard on yourself by any means. So you're a human. Keep a journal of your emotions. It's so important, because you're going to see your process and your progress. There you go. You're going to see both, literally. You're going to see your progress and your process of going from point A to point B, and then from point B to point C, and then all of a sudden you're at Z, like zoo, and you're like, oh my god. And then you start an A again, not because you're in a rough spot, it's because you're at the next level. You know what I mean? Make a detailed plan. That helps for some people. It depends on what toxic relationship. It depends on what you're letting go of. It depends on so many different things. But if making a plan works for you, of like, I'm going to stay my ground, and that means I'm going to block this person, or that means I'm only going to see them X in this X activity, especially if they're a coworker or something like that, or I'm going to quit, but before I quit, I'm going to give my 15 days notice, this date, X, Y, Z, you know what I mean? Like, make that detailed plan that's going to somehow make you feel better. You also make a vision board. And instead of having a vision board of, future things that you want to manifest into the present, you can also have a vision board of the things that you feel like who you are. So love and joy and all the positive things that you are, put it all together and put it in a place that you can see that every day. Whether it's in a piece of paper, whether it's in a pin board of these, make a real life Pinterest, basically, you know what I mean? And of course, much like I was telling you in the first one, apart from, the part of build a support system, surround yourself with positivity. That's the only way this is going to work. That's not the only way. I just gave you a whole bunch of ways, didn't I? That's one of the main ways this is going to work. You have to surround yourself with positivity, with cheerful things, with motivational things when you wake up. Yes, be angry, be sad, let those feelings out, and listen to that sad music or listen to those things, but also listen to positive music when you wake up. Listen to things, watch things, surround yourself, walk through places that make you happy, do activities that fulfill you with joy. All these sorts of things all together is going to elevate your your frequency, your vibe, but it's also going to make you realize how much you're worth. Right? Mic drop. So going back to the original part, like I was saying, you got to stop watering dead plants and let the new ones grow. And yes, we've talked about this already once again in previous episodes. That's why in this little mini episode, we're talking about ways to bring your own value and your own worth, to bring in that light and joy of who you are inside and out. Thank you so much for being here. And not only thank you for being here and having some time and energy to talk to me, to be here, to understand where I'm coming from, and just, being surrounded by everything that you see, of course, but also you gotta thank yourself because you're making the time out of your whatever schedule to be here and listen to these words that you need at this moment. So I'm very, very proud of you for being here. I'm so happy you're here. I'm so astonished and empowered by you. I'm so thankful for you, Team Flyer, because thanks to you, you bring me so much joy and love in my life that I see you grow as well. So my biggest thing is I want to hear from you. What are 3 of your best, personal values, or what are 3 favorite things of yours, of your personality? It could be, your looks. I really love my hair, for example. And that used to be mine many years ago. I think it kind of is at some point, but now my 3 ones wouldn't be my physical self. It will be more my inner self. But when I was asked this question, I'm like, oh, my hair. I love my hair. I always keep it healthy. I had it a million colors. I was a mermaid of colors, basically, from Little Mermaid red to purple and pink and blue and green, and is that all the colors? Because I would say yellow, but it wasn't yellow. That was just blonde. So I did not do yellow, though. I think that's very difficult with my hair. Anyways, it's always been very healthy. It's always been very taken care of. I've always been very proud of it and proud of my original color as well. So it used to be mainly that, and that's how it kind of started with my hair, the glasses that I pick out, or my eye color, or little things like that were big things for me back then. There still kind of are, of course, but we're going to transfer those things to what you bring to the table internally as well, because that's who you are, 100% you, because what matters on the inside. It's that simple. So let me know 3 things of yours, personality traits that you love about yourself. 3 things that you love about yourself, basically. Personality traits or not. And as for us, as always, it's always a pleasure. Keep sharing, subscribing, commenting, liking. Thank you so much for your time, for your effort, for your joy, for your happiness, for your realness, for your tears, for your everything. I'll see you all very, very soon. Cheers, Team Flyer. Have a beautiful day. Have a beautiful week. Keep on going. I believe in you. You got this. Bye.